Well, Isaac, how are the emotions 24 hours after that one?
Mixed, I think, because I think there was a lot of positives to take out of the game, but ultimately we didn't win. And I think this was a game where I felt we should have won it on the balance of things. I felt, especially in the first half, we had a lot of opportunities that we should have capitalised on. And yeah, it's disappointing not to win, but I think when we review it as a team, we'll be able to take a lot of positives and build for the rest of the season.
Yeah, what was the feeling like at half-time in particular? Did you feel like it should have been 2-3 up at this stage?
To be honest, that's not really my job, so I wasn't really concerned with that at half-time. But I just watched the first half back, and often as a defender you don't see the chances because you're trying to organise the rest defence so that we don't get counter-attacked. But watching it back, I couldn't believe some of the chances we had that we didn't score. Some top Redmayne, to be fair to him, had probably the best game I've seen him have ever since I've been watching. So yeah.
Yeah, and for you, just getting back on the pitch, how good was that? That must have been pretty frustrating missing the first two games.
Yeah, it's the worst thing. You got the longest pre-season in the world. 4 months I'm fit for every game, and then get an infection in my ankle 2 days before the start of the season. But yeah, it was really frustrating to watch the games, more because you just feel helpless, in the stand. But yeah, it was good feeling to be back out there with the boys and try and do what I can to help us win.
And how was the ankle and how's the body now after the 90 minutes?
Well, Ouija and Grayson are crying because they only wanted me to play 60. But I'm fine. I was always going to play 90. I think I'm fine.
Yeah. Mandrake being a late withdrawal, how much did that disrupt things? And then obviously losing Hede and losing Conch as well during the game. How much disruption was all of that?
And Rami, to be fair, in the week we lost Rami in the week. It's a disruption. Obviously, with losing Mandrake means I had to play in the middle, which we weren't prepared for. Shez was going to play wing back and then had to play on the right. Hede coming in, then coming out. But it's disruption, but this is football. This stuff happens, and everyone in the squad needs to be ready for their opportunity. I think Anaru came in on his debut and did absolutely incredible. I think Anaru's really impressed in pre-season, and I think he's come on as I'm not sure how old he is, he's 06, whatever that is these days. 19. He's come on as a 19-year-old into the midfield from the 20th minute in an away game, and he's didn't look out of place at all. I thought he had some really good moments, so I think he should be really proud of himself, and I think all the work that the academy, Chris Greenacre's done with him is really paid off.
Yeah, how proud were you of? I think at that stage there was 6 academy graduates, all recent, that were in the starting 11 at the time.
Yeah, it's really good for the club. I think it's really. I know myself when I was in the academy, I'd always look up to Suts and Wayno, who were the main ones in the first team at the time, and gives you that inspiration that there is that pathway there for you. And I think it's when they're coming in and they're performing, it's really good for the club.
And for you, how quickly after the game did you turn your mind to Auckland on Saturday night?
Look, the game, I think everyone walked off, I think almost similar to Perth. I think we walked off the pitch feeling like we could have got more out of that game, but I think a point away in the ALeague can never be sniffed at, and I think we were disappointed as a playing group in the changing room, but I think it was a message we sort of said to each other, we can't dwell on that, and we can't think too deeply about it and be too down about that. We've got a big week ahead of us. There's a big game coming up on the weekend, and we take that was a positive performance, not a positive result, but a positive performance that we can build on and take into the derby.
And the team, I suppose, put a lot of, maybe not consciously, but there was a lot of subconscious effort on those derby games. I know guys got very excited about them. Is there a sort of a move to not place too much of an emphasis on these games and try and treat it like just another game in the A-League?
I think you have to acknowledge that it's not just another game. There's a rivalry developing there. I didn't expect it to develop so quick, but it has. There is that rivalry there. I think it does mean more to beat your rivals, but you can't play the occasion. We still have to play the game, and while it's not just another game in terms of like it is a bigger game, it's still the same game. It's still football, and we have to do what's right regardless of who we're playing, and we still have to focus on ourselves and what we're doing. We don't have to put too much emphasis on them.
Yeah, and for the game itself, will you look back to last year's derbies, or are they sort of like long forgotten now and your teams are looking forward to what this new looks like and do?
I think last year's derbies probably aren't relevant now. They were relevant last season because we need to learn from them, and I think maybe we can think back and take some learnings from the derbies. I think in the first one we actually had the better of the game, but I thought we were a bit naive towards the end. So I think maybe we can learn from that situation, but I don't think we're a different team with a different playing style, with a different players, and they've got new players. It's hard to relate the last derby too much to the one coming up.
And a lot of the players are getting out and about this week. I think Wednesday afternoon going into the town. How important is that to get rub shoulders with the fans ahead of these big games?
Well, I think it's super important that fan engagement with the players and with the fans, because we rely a lot on the fans at home, and we really do need them. I think in the Brisbane game, then when we got that first goal and then really getting behind us, the momentum in the game just dragged us over the line. And I think in these derby games, especially because we had to go play 2 away last year, now that we have 2 at home this year, the fans being there is going to be a huge factor for us to try and get that win.
And finally, how important is it to get a big crowd come Saturday night?
Oh, it's hugely important. I think the crowd drives the energy and drives the momentum, and I think often it drives an unsettlement in the opposition. I think when you have the crowd really like baying for blood, it can really unnerve the opposition and sort of give you that. It's hard to describe. It's like a drive and a feeling that you get within when the crowd is really big and really loud, and it really does push you on in the game.